All right, do we want, I mean, it's 12 noon dead up. We want to try to start right away. And basically, I guess people can jump in. Or actually, we've got a little bit of time to allow people to jump in before everybody starts their presentations. Let's go around and really do have everybody that's here do a quick introduction. Okay. So I'll start it. I'm Greg Long with Willamette Valley Bank. On the board of directors here for Westland Chamber. So welcoming you all today to join in this lunch and learn presentation. I'm really excited about it. Nick, why don't you jump in, introduce yourself real quick?
Yeah, hey, I'm Nick from Assetlab Marketing. We're just working with Greg on this project for Westland Chamber, and it seems like there's a lot of people from BNI as well. So thanks for having us and thanks for coming.
Yeah, so just everybody introduce with your name and your business. Casey?
Hi, really happy to be here. I'm Casey Whelan with New York Life Insurance Company.
Stephen?
Good afternoon. My name is Stephen Quick, SQ Merchant Services, and then my other hat is I'm board president of the Westland Chamber.
Luisa?
Hi, I am Luisa Nims from Nims Consulting, and I am the other half of the presentation today.
John?
Hey there, I'm John Bippis with First Citizens Bank.
Marcy?
Hi, I'm Marcy Holmes with Marcy H Coaching.
Tracy?
Hi, I'm Tracy Myers. I am with Hot Diggity Dog Treats.
Kelly?
Hi, I'm Kelly Uppard with Westpac Wealth Partners.
Donna?
Hello, I'm Donna Capodaco, Chrysalis Partners, Premium Business Coaching.
Gatella?
Hello, Gatella Himmer with Serenity Tax and Accounting.
Lori, I know you came in late. Just quick intro, name and business.
Hi, I'm Lori Bell. I'm with Clackamas Water Environment Services, also known as WES.
And Bonnie. Oh, Bonnie, unmute, please.
Sorry, Bonnie Canary, Legal Shield, certified to help small businesses.
Great. So that's everybody I can see. If there's anybody else that I can't see, please unmute and introduce yourself real quick.
Hi, I'm Shatrine Craik. I am the executive director. It's all right. The Westland Chamber of Commerce, and we welcome you today. Thanks for joining us.
All right, so real quick, our lunch and learn today, and we are recording this, so you'll be able to come back to this, and we look to share it. We've got two real specialists here in trying to help small businesses really get exposure, and then how do you convert those to sales? So it's really two steps. Luisa's real expertise is in branding. So what she's going to really talk about today is really how do you get attention? What should you be doing out there online so that people will come to you, okay? And then Nick, we're going to talk a little bit more about how once you've got those leads in, how do we convert those to sales, okay? So really getting brand recognition and being able to have a place to actually convert them to sales. So that's what we're going to try to go through today. We hope this is going to be of value to everybody. And because it's going to be recorded, we actually highly encourage you, if you found value in what we did today, share it. So Shatrine will be posting that link. And we're here, we're trying to help Westland Chamber members and really help everybody through these difficult times we've had. Now that we've, so many businesses have been forced, they need a better online presence, okay? So if you're new to this or you've been running it and you want to see better results, this is going to be a super value to today. So I'm going to turn the floor over to Luisa and Nick. It's yours.
And you're muted, Luisa.
Sorry about that. Thank you, Greg, and thank you, Westland Chamber of Commerce, for inviting Nick and I to come today and do a case study for one of your chamber members. Today, as mentioned, we're going to be looking at Tracy Meyer's Hot Diggity Dog Treats and seeing what we can do to build the emotional connection between her and her consumers. So basically, Nick and I work on two sides of optimizing your marketing and communications. I develop the emotional connection and kind of and what that means and what that entails, messaging the content. And then Nick, on the other side of it, executes it. He puts it into your digital footprint and he develops it further. So they kind of go, they really have to go hand in hand. You can have a great website and nobody finds you, or you can have great SEO and optimized website, but nobody understands what you are because they're so confused. So they're really two sides of the same coin. And by doing, taking the time and investment in creating an emotional connection, you are able to optimize and target your marketing communications. And also that means that you get a higher return on investment and you optimize your budgets. I mean, that's essentially what you're doing, right? You're very clear about where you're going and what you need to do, and then you execute it. And if you don't have those pieces in, then you end up spending a lot of time kind of flailing around and trying to figure out, how to do it. And so that's basically what we're going to do today. Give an overview on Hot Diggity Dog Treats, and then kind of what Tracy can do for steps, but there's a lot more that can go into it as well. And I'll be sending something out with Chantrine after the presentation. And also Nick and I kind of talked about how we wanted the presentation to go. And we both are more conversational. So if you have a burning question, go ahead and speak up. And we will answer it as we go along. We're okay with that. And there should be also time at the end to ask questions if you want to wait until the end as well. It's just kind of what your preference is, okay? Great. Okay, can everybody see my screen? Because I cannot see you. Oh, I should have moved you back to the front, sorry.
Yes, you're good.
We were playing with it a lot this morning. Okay, here we go. Okay, so as we said, this is a case study about emotional branding and online strategy with Assetlab and Nims Consulting. So we know that brands that excel create an emotional connection with their consumers. And when you have that emotional connection, then they are able to engage and understand what you're about. And then they also feel a part of it. So in order to create an emotional connection, brands must know the emotional territory of their brand. So there's 8 basic kind of emotional territories or motivations for engaging in either it could be a brand or it could be a relationship. This could be, you could use this for your dating or your friendship groups if you wanted to, but it's mostly used for branding. And what it is a way of looking at and creating order out of chaos of all these different emotional messaging that you can use as a brand. So we've got pleasure, indulgence, pampering at the top. That's like spas and daydreaming and doing nice things for yourself and for others. And then at the bottom of the map, you can see that there's more of a kind of a rational, factual element. And that's more like your fears. And a good way to kind of look at this is to kind of consider the car market. So we have a strong car culture in the States, and a lot people tie their identity to their car. So this is a great way of looking at it. And why we're discussing this, I want you to think about maybe where your brand and company sits in this, because it will help you kind of understand how this works and more about how, where you fit into your own marketplace. So at the top is the VW Bug, and it's a new Bug convertible. It's not the old one, even though that's awfully cute too, but it's cute, it's fun. You can't pack a lot of people into it. It's a convertible, and so it's more for zipping around and having fun, around town and even like on a longer car trip. And then you have the Cooper Mini. It's a car that you walk by on the sidewalk and you see, and you have to stop and look at it because it's so darn cute and everybody loves them. It might not be the car for them, but they bring out a lot of smiles when people see them on the roadway. And then you've got the Hondas, the belonging kind of group. The Hondas, and the Honda CR-Vs is a great example of this. There are a lot on the roadway, and they are a long established brand, and they are well integrated into this society. So there's a real kind of confirmation of belonging with the Honda CR-V brand. So then you have more of the traditional kind of functional purists. And Nick and I felt that the Toyota Camry is a good place for this. So the Camry is more of, it has a good long-standing history, and it has a functional element to it, and people recognize it, but it doesn't have the same kind of belonging. There's a little bit of differentiation with the Camry. So we'll keep going here. Minivans, we know you can pack a lot of people, you can pack a lot of, sports equipment, and you can pack a lot of luggage if you're going someplace. It's very functional. And then the Teslas with the butterfly wing doors. I mean, we know that this is the most innovative car right now on the roadway. And people who are attracted to it are definitely tech heads, and that really look into unique, innovative type of brands. And then you've got the Cascade, the Cadillac Escalades, or the Mercedes as well. But really the Escalades have taken over this. This is kind of mastering the norm. They are the kings of the road. You see people in powerful positions driving in entourages of Cadillac Escalades because they know that they are at the top of the heap. And so then you have this vitality adventure kind of category, and that's the Jeeps. The Jeep Rubicon is a great example of that. And that is more of the adventurous, outgoing, let's go out into the woods and maybe four-wheel it, or we might not. And what I've noticed also is that, and it's very individualistic as well. And where I live, there has been in the last year a huge uptick in people buying Jeeps, and I see them on the road all the time. And it's in direct connection with the pandemic because, basically you can drive over the dead bodies to get out of town if you have to. And it's kind of every man for itself kind of car. So that kind of gives you an idea of the different emotional territories. And at the core of that, and then there's a core experience, depending upon where you fit in to this mapping to the experience. And we'll talk a little bit more about that with Hot Diggity Dog Treats in a little bit. So does anybody have any questions before I go on? I can't see you because I'm presenting. Is that a no?
I don't think I see anyone's hands up. You're good to go.
Okay, great. So if you really know where your emotional territory is, and it isn't just necessarily in one spot, it can usually overlap two different spots. Then you can enable a clear message so your consumers can find you in the crowd. And it's all about creating differentiation. And the only way that you're going to do that is if you really know who you are. So some of the top pet brands are Hills and Purina, and there's another one. I forgot it. I had it on the top of my head. But there's like these three top brands in the pet food market, for example, that have really strong branding. They know who they are. When people look at their brands on the shelf, and in the midst of all these other brands, they can point these out and immediately recognize them and know perceptually what they stand for. And that's what we're really going for. So the most successful brands and products solve social problems using emotional communication. So there's a perceived social problem, and then there's a solution to the problem, and then the brand intersects with that. So, and that is the solution. And so in this case, you'll see, and that's where your point of engagement is. And that's really important to remember. What problem are you solving? So the problem for the majority of pet owners is finding products they trust that focus on the well-being of their pets through the health and wellness category of goods and services. And I'm talking about the 60+% that are out there that are spending a lot of money on high-end accessories and dog food and treats and things like that. So, and that group is growing. So pet owners love their dogs and want to give them the best life possible. 63% of the US population owns a dog, and it's growing. Urban millennials are now choosing to have dogs or other pets over children for multiple reasons. Number one is financial, but also they want a more untethered lifestyle. And once you have kids, you get tethered between, you've got school, they have their sports programs, they have a whole social environment, and it's not always easy to travel with them for long term. Some people do it and are really great at it, but have a completely different kind of lifestyle. And that's where millennials are going more towards, a kind of a hybrid between this having a kind of a more tethered relationship with the world and being able to go out and explore, and pets allow them to do that. So there's also a major critical event that happened in 2007. There was a worldwide pet food recall, which set off a much closer examination of ingredients. So I believe a bunch of animals actually died because of the toxic ingredients in the pet food. And so since then, people have been much more cautious about what they feed their dogs. And then over time, the obesity rates have jumped up. And now there is a higher rate of cancer in dogs over the age of 5. And so as the dogs become more companions, the pet owners are willing to spend a lot more money on making sure that they take preventative measures so their dog lives longer and they're traveling with them. And then there's an aspiration for self part of this that is really important to keep in mind. So most pet owners subconsciously indulge and critique what they feed their animals because they cannot do it for themselves. So the dog becomes a proxy for the person, and they are much easier to control what their dogs do and what their dogs eat and what their dogs get than they can for themselves. And so that connection is going to be really important for Hot Diggity Dog Treats. And then vet services, and specialty vet services, are now an open door to hypervigilant care. I know, like, for example, Banford Pets, you can get an insurance policy that allows you to come in anytime you want for your dog. So people are starting to bring them in for the littlest things where before they wouldn't. And then we know that the accessories market is growing at an exponential rate. So again, people pamper their dogs as a proxy to their own desires. People pamper their dogs because they want to be treated like this. They want to be loved and cared for like they love and care for their dogs. And so that means that the dog becomes an extension of the owner. And so you're going to need to keep in mind that whatever you do for the dog is what you're doing for the owner, and vice versa. And so that'll be very important in your content and messaging. So we know that health and wellness is a growing area of interest for dedicated pet owners, and they're looking online for solutions. So 25 to 30% of dogs are now obese. And when they hit 5, it's 40 to 45% that are overweight. Online sales are up 51% in March 2020 alone. And it is forecasted for end of year that the direct-to-consumer pet market is estimated at $13.5 billion. Specialty vet services are up 47% since 2017, and that will continue to grow. Pet supplements are on the rise, and there is a forecast of it being a $1 billion business by 2027. So in 2021, end of year, they're expected to hit $110 billion for this market. And it has been year over year, 500% increase since 1994 consistently, which is huge. So the forecast for 2027 for all pet categories of sales is $358 billion. So you can see how this is growing. This is experiencing exponential growth. So I found this interesting. Freeze-dried dog food is the fastest growing niche. And I also know that stores like Whole Food now has special yogurt just for dogs. So fresh food, freeze-dried food, anything that gives a sense that the nutrition in the food is captured is going to be important. So, and then 61% of owners are willing to pay more for targeted dietary needs. And the average owner spends over $300 a year just on food and treats for their dog alone. So Hot Diggity Dog Treats sits in the emotional territory of being a healthy indulgence that is focused on nutrition. It's going to be about quality, wholesomeness, and then building a community, which we'll talk about a little bit further. And Nick will also talk about in his part of the presentation about how creating user-generated content is going to be a key aspect to Hot Diggity Dog Treat success. And then more and more people are demanding on transparency, and the millennials that are coming up with the disposable income and that are going to be multiple pet owners, they demand transparency. So this is going to become increasingly important too. And this has been going on for 20 years, the transparency piece, but it's going to become a make or break issue for people. or in brands. So Hot Diggity Dog Treats is entering a market flooded by indulgent, healthy dog treats. They all need to differentiate themselves, emphasizing health, quality, and nutrition in their own unique way. So what this means for Hot Diggity Dog Treats is a focus on ingredients, calories, specialized products for dogs with specific dietary needs, in which I noticed that Tracy has a new one up that's gluten-free peanut butter for pups. So she's already doing it. Small batch cooking while building community and keeping the love. This will provide the level of differentiation needed in luxury pet treat market and require Hot Diggity Dog Treats to optimize their digital footprint, branding, and targeted messaging to encompass these values. And again, this is now we're heading kind of into Nick's area, and he will talk more about this when he starts presenting. So pampering, we know pampering is one emotional territory that this brand fits into. So it's about indulgence, pleasure, health, and self-care. And remember that there is a direct connection between the dog and the pet owner on self-care. So when they care for their dog, they're caring for themselves. So what this means for the brand is emulating these emotions in their digital presence through user-generated content and product offerings. So types of treats, gift baskets, giveaways, and partnerships are going to be really important for this brand. So Hot Diggity Dog Treats is also innovative. So focusing on their uniqueness, specialization, health, and self-care. Again, I'm going to keep bringing back the self-care because it's very important. It's going to be a part of that proposition. So focus on functional elements of nutrition, ingredients, recipes, and small batch cooking, and content creation through facts and figures. So this is really important. So this is about the content creation piece, where you get down to the more factual elements. And the pleasure piece is much more about the visual or the imagery and the partnerships and the relationships. So Manny, the French Bulldog, an Instagram star, is the perfect avatar for Hot Diggity Dog Treats. So Manny is has 1 million followers on Instagram, and he has his own book. In fact, that's the book that Manny wrote. So he is loved and bonded to his owners. He's a pampered family member. He receives special care, and the parents give a lot of time, and he's socially engaged. And that's where Hot Diggity Dog Treats needs to sit within. And I would also suggest that sending him a gift basket of the dog treats and other high performing social media accounts would be a part of your engagement strategy. So now I'm going to hand this over to Nick and have him continue.
I was going to say, if folks have questions, please feel free to use your reactions and raise your hand, because then I could call on you just in case our presenter can't see.
Yeah, I cannot see. I can only see I don't have two monitors right now. And so I can only see the presentation.
No problem. We'll help you out here.
There we go. And are you guys seeing it on my screen now? Is that clear for you?
Yes, it looks great.
Thanks. Beautiful. Well, thank you. How am I doing on time real quick? Just wanted to check in.
It's 12:23. Yeah, we're going to be great.
Cool, great. So I'm Nick with Assetlab, really taking now what Luisa's created, and we've been working together on the really critical component of who you are, the message you're delivering, and making sure you're getting the right people. And now this is like the implementation, the know-how of actually putting it in front of the right people. So this is our website actually right here. This is a little look at some of the work you might actually see from us right here. Work smarter, not harder, and crafting, websites catered to you. The rest of the presentation was kind of taken, drafted from some of the slides and things from Luisa's, and she said it looked a little Dr. Seuss. So here's what our web design looks like, and I am keeping it simple for the rest of the slides to just really give you something to look at, something to think about as we go through this. Maybe, there we go. So 3 really simple things. Is it easy to find, easy to use, and does it make you money? Are the 3 things we're just going to look at today. So first thing, easy to find. Google. If I type it into Google, can I find it on Google? Are you going to be on the first or second page? And really, especially, you know, I say millennials, anybody, I think really anybody, but definitely millennials are probably not going past page 1 or 2 to find your things. Now on here, what she does really good is Hot Diggity Dog Treats are the first dog treats you'll find on the page. So she's on page 1. There's a whole score, like your credit that goes into it. So that's where, you know, really having marketing strategy and somebody to work with comes in for having all those pieces together, from social media, like you see here, having all the
Only seeing the first
information.
page.
What was that?
I'm still seeing We Are Asset Labs.
Are you?
Yeah.
Are you seeing anything different?
Not
Maybe
yet.
I need to stop sharing.
Oh, there you go. You got it.
I need to stop sharing.
Easy to use, easy
Yep,
to find.
you're
You
there.
see that now?
I see it now. Yeah.
And now the next page.
Okay, I'm controlling it. I think that's the problem.
Okay. Do you want to stop sharing real quick?
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I thought
Oh,
we
it's
could
okay.
just switch right over.
Oh, there. Oh, let's see. Let's try this again.
No problem.
When we did it earlier, we could share together, but I created the Zoom meeting,
Okay.
and I think that made the easier transition, so we weren't quite sure.
Oh, sorry.
There we go.
Is this working now? Do you see it?
Yes, looks excellent.
Easy to find, easy to use. Okay, great, thanks. Thanks, Casey. So on here, can you see this now? Does this look like a Google screen on a phone?
Yes, looks
Okay,
great.
great. So this is where you're going to see, like I was saying before, she's going to be the first dog treats on this page. So she is on page 1. And then, as I was saying, the Google score and everything is going to include your social media here, making sure all of this information is equated to your website, your Google page. And that's where there's a lot of different components. It's simple and it's not necessarily easy. So that's kind of something to keep in mind. It's almost a whole nother branch of your company, if you will. As far as the physical locations for businesses, I say if you don't have like a little red flag, nobody's going to find you. So also local search engine optimization is important for physical business specifically, for people to be able to come and find you in your area. So you might see it says near me is an option usually in Google. That's where that's going to be really critical for you. And all of that together is the SEO, search engine optimization, and really having all of that is critical for that message that you've now worked so hard with Luisa on to be seen by that demographic that you actually want it to be seen by. And then simple things as far as actual website usage. So the easy to use part, upload speed. If your website on the mobile device doesn't upload in 3 or 4 seconds, people are gone. It's that quick. I mean, this day and age, things are in and out. So making sure that it actually uploads quickly. Tracy's actually uploads really quickly. She has a great setup here. As you can see, the menu options up here with the little, we call them hamburgers. Your shopping cart right here. So the navigation and flow is easy. And it's also going to be important as you scroll on mobile, what that looks like. So if you're interested in your own website, go on your phone, see how it looks. Is it easy for you to go through? Does it look like social media is a good pinpoint to see as a reference point to what it looks like. And then action. So actually on her website, it's really easy as you scroll down. There's going to be everything you can buy there, which is really useful. And something you might also want to add or you could check out is adding something like a buy treats now right here in the front. So if somebody comes and they're like, I already know what I want, boom. Or wow, give your dog treats, boom. Great, I'm going to do it right this second. So just really, you know, and that ties into the make you money. Make it easy, make it really fluid and intuitive, which is the last piece I put on there. Really making it like something that's natural to use, especially in this day and age of marketing of social media. Let me just buy it right now, put my thumbprint to pay, done. And have that work and leverage for you. On this page, something that was really critical, as Luisa was saying before too, with Tracy's, is creating a community. So the platform really needs to be an experience for users. And so she has a page right here that you can see of filling in your name, adding your email. That's going to be great for actually having people import their photos, share their stories, which is really the community, like a farmer's market community Tracy's building. And that might be different for you, but what's in the background, no matter what, is automation. Does that go smoothly and easy for you? Do you have to go search through emails to find all of the things, to put them together, to add to your website, to to add content? Or do you have somebody doing that for you? Or can it just be done really fluidly through what you have set up on your platform? Along with that is also the strategy and future I put, because now you're going to have these contact information in your system, and you're going to be able to really create some new strategies going forward as far as keeping up with people, building that community, and keeping it strong as it is. And we also do strategy, as that's really vital to all of these components you're going to be investing in and using it for. So that's where the return on investment comes in. Something awesome Luisa pointed out to me is not reinventing the wheel. If you have a website, if you have social media, going and taking some of these actions doesn't mean you have to have a new website. You have to rebrand everything. You have to change everything, and it's going to cost you thousands of dollars. You can do consultations. We do consultations. Find out exactly, do the research to see if there's things you can implement in what you already have. And a lot of places I know we do, just like have a conversation just to see what it is you do want to accomplish and if there's much we have to do with what you have. And then, as I said, values and benefits of working with us would be, a lot of this stuff is simple and it's not easy. It's time consuming. That's time that you could be working on your business instead of in your business. And especially for a lot of these businesses, marketing and being online isn't what you're focused on. You're focused on your clients, delivering what you actually want to be up to, what they actually need in that area of life. And so having this leveraged and working in the background for you is just going to help you expand and grow your business, so you're not having to think about that component. And we really are based in the Northwest. Community, transparency, and professionalism are our values that we really communicate, and that's a little bit about us. And hopefully you got some really useful, I wouldn't say advice, but things to look at in your own business and things you might even be able to implement right now. And thank you. I think that's it.
That was fantastic. Oh, great. They put their contact info. I just dropped it in the chat as well. So if you guys would like to copy, this is wonderful. Does anyone have any questions on this fantastic presentation?
I wanted to comment real quick. I love the concept where Luisa started in about identifying, what the client's needs are, and thinking about how you can bond to them emotionally. Because, that's always a struggle. It's like, what are you really selling? I know in my business, people think I sell rates. I don't sell rates. That's not what I sell. But trying to identify those strong emotional ties and how I'm meeting those emotional ties and what I do in my job, that's what's important. So I just loved how you emphasized that, Luisa. That was important for me.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of control over our website.
Yes.
This is where, small business wise, which again is so much of Westland Chamber, this is why, a lot of the people that are chamber members do have that kind of control.
I was actually going to bring up, I think it's such a great reminder to go and take your cell phone and check how quickly and how easily you can pull up your own website. You can pull up like, and not just, you know, I love the hamburger at top, you know, if you've got a place you want to send people, you know, you see all that, but then also go in and check your links to Instagram, check your links to Facebook, like make sure it is as easy as possible for your folks to find you, get to you, and then, yeah, start to communicate and make some magic happen.
And one of the things that I asked Nick as I was getting to understand what Assetlab does is that, you know, how can we make this easier to share user-generated content? I mean, that is really a key resource for brands and for companies. And a lot do not know how to use it, or they get overwhelmed with possibilities. So Nick's company, from what I understand, can make that a lot easier, because I see Hot Diggity Dog Treats as a kind of a farmer market feel that, but online. So it becomes a platform for pet owners who can get together and really share their love of their dogs and their health and what they like about Hot Diggity Dog Treats and what the treats do for their pets, and create a conversation. And that engagement is what's going to really allow Tracy to take off. And also, it's a front line of free market research, because they're going to tell you all kinds of stuff that they want and that they're looking for, and you can make it for them. And I mean, people, you know, big companies spend hundreds and thousands of dollars on Nielsen data for that research, and you're getting it for free. So I think people forget about how important social media is actually as a reflexive conversation that is great for collecting information to continue evolving your business and keeping it relevant. And it costs you nothing but a little time.
Nick, I would love your thoughts on that, because I've actually had quite a few folks talk about utilizing, you know, Google reviews, like all the different reviews you can use. So I don't know pricing on that. And so I don't know if you have any other suggestions, but, you know, after you complete a transaction, after you've made this connection and you've actually worked with a client and they're walking away, like they have actually built in little thank you notes, or when they send them out and say, hey, would you mind sending a review? Would you mind commenting? You know, so I don't know for Tracy, does she build that in on the back of her little dog treats? Hey, do you love my products? Please review. Or would you have suggestions for ways that folks, again, can generate that, the user reviews, so then my hardworking small businesses aren't having to take another extra hours and hours and hours to cultivate that, but have a natural response? What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's a really great question. A lot of it is going to be, it's so case to case basis, but really knowing your demographic, your market, like Luisa was saying, because it could be things where, you know, Tracy has little bags. So something that might be easy for that is throwing a QR code on the back of the actual bag itself. So people can, boom, right there. Now I can upload my photo, I can upload my story, whatever it is. And that might be something for her that would be a really easy tool to be able to create that community on. And then implementing those things, that's where the whole, you know, I just say have a conversation with whoever you're going to go with, like do a little research, because it is an investment. I mean, you're going to be spending money on marketing. It's, you know, spend money to make money kind of thing, and know what you're spending it on and what you're getting. So I think there's critical questions like knowing what you are getting. Do you own the rights to your things? Like, do you own the website? Are you hosting it? Are they hosting it? And then just really, like, if you have any questions, ask them all, because it is finding the right fit. And sometimes, like, we're not the right fit for some people. Some people want something way more complex than we might do, or some people might need something just very simple that works for them, that doesn't need a lot of help or extra work essentially on the backside. So yeah, I think finding that market and then just having a conversation with me, somebody in the field, to see how that works and what is going to be best for that person.
Tracy, not to put you on the hot seat, but I'd love to hear a comment from you, because I know both these, you know, professionals put a lot of time and effort into looking at your business. So, like, what would you tell another business owner in engaging with somebody like this and how it could help them?
Absolutely. I was waiting for a little break in the action there, but just Luisa and Nick, thank you so much. You guys are amazing. I so enjoy talking to both of you. And I don't think I gave you that much information, but boy, you just presented a lot of information. So I'm so impressed. You guys really did a lot of hard work on that. And I'm impressed and very grateful for that. So thank you. Some of the big takeaways just now though, Luisa, especially when you're talking about I am kind of going for that farmer's market feel, but it is now going that next level of engaging with people. I'm great at the farmer's market one-on-one, and it is the virtual and the social media and things like that, and trying to keep an engagement that's personal on such a non-personal level, such as, the internet. And that is definitely
you can
something.
scale that. You can scale that, no problem.
Yeah,
you still need to keep that feel, because I think that is your sweet spot.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that you can't scale it. You can't make it a global farmers market, right? It's about capturing the essence of that atmosphere that you get at the farmers market, and the values and the motivations. This is all about motivational research and about the motivations to buy and engage and to participate. And you then translate that onto your digital footprint, and then in your packaging and everything else that you do. So it really doesn't, there's no limitation to it. I just want to make sure that you realize that.
Yeah. No, I definitely am walking away with that. It's like, there is no limitation. No pun intended, the sky's the limit. And yeah, I'm a pilot. So
I was about to message you. That was great.
But the other thing that it's also making me realize is, how far do I want to go with this? Because it does, to make money, I will have to invest money. I talk about Hot Diggity Dog Treats as we, which is just me and the voices in my head, because it's just me. And to have professional help with this is, I think, an incredible investment that I could be making, that I definitely need to sit down and factor that in, and make that, me and the board of directors, which is me and my dog, need to decide how far we're taking this, because I think it would be a very good investment to have the help to grow that way.
Yeah. So I know you have a daughter. Is this something that you're interested in your daughter, or is your daughter showing interest in to take it over at some point? Because people don't really look at that very often, about creating generational wealth. It could be a good place for her.
Yeah. She's 7, and she created a pupperito, not a burrito, a pupperito on Tuesday. So she shows some interest on some days.
Yeah.
And I think that is the big thing, is that I do have another career. So my bigger thing too is, does she, looking in the future, I don't know if this is something she'd be interested in, but I'd love to find somebody who's interested in, that I could hand the reins over to when I go back to work.
Stephen, did you want to say something really quick? And then Lori, you can go next.
It was actually not something to say. I mean, actually, yes, excellent presentation. What you guys do is just, wow, I was actually quite impressed. I have a question though, coming from the financial industry. You had made mention about Tracy, being at the top, but she's kind of a niche category. How do you handle someone maybe like me, that people spend lots of money to be on that first page for the world of merchant services, and I'm lucky if I can make it to page 12?
So that more in the actual SEO kind of questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
things. I'm doing as much social media as I can, and that's about as best as I can get.
Yeah, and there's really a lot of it sometimes too is just getting, like I said, we're transparent, just the straight up. There's some companies that can dump millions of dollars into their marketing, and there's just some things on Google and things that they're just gonna own it, because some of that is how much can you pay, to be on these, it's the global marketplace. So there is that. And then there's just really, as much as you can to have all those other things tight, from reviews to your actual information, like I said, all being succinct and synced up with each other. There's other things you could do, like having blogs and different information out throughout the web that's actually going to tie back to your website would be something. And the more you can put really useful content that's being seen, whether through social media or through Google itself, will definitely aid in increasing your Google score. And sometimes it is playing the game. And if you're in a kind of, lack of a better term, like the big kids market, it's kind of, sometimes it's big kid money sort of thing. So.
Okay.
I know.
I do want to say something, Steve, that I just want to interject here because I run into this. If you, I don't know what your social media is. I haven't looked at it at all. And I haven't looked at your branding, but if you have if you have the right message and the right content, you have a much higher likelihood to have success with somebody like Nick's company. So I would kind of encourage you to think about doing a brand audit and making sure that you're sending out the right messaging. We have a tendency to think that we are really rational and that everything's factual and it's all about data, but it really isn't. We're 95% wired emotional. And it's not something that Americans really want to talk about too much. And they want to think that they're very rational and, and they've got everything under control. But, in reality, we are tuning forks and we are picking up all of these different perceptions and thoughts and ideas based upon how we view the world around ourselves. And we don't think about that so much. And so that's why the emotional connection piece gets lost a lot, especially with the smaller companies, because they haven't grown yet to a point where they can afford to hire really big companies or specialized companies, which is what I used to do. I used to work for Heineken and Unilever and Coca-Cola and some other brands because they understood it and they had the marketing budgets for it. I'm now working much more leaner with small companies because I can't travel anymore. And I stopped my career for a while to have kids. And so so I'm kind of educating a whole nother level of, or exposing a whole nother group to kind of what the big guns get. And so you need to, I kind of challenge you to think about that.
Thank you guys so much. I know we have reached our 12:45 mark. We're a little past it, but I would love to keep talking. So if you have to go, we totally understand. And we thank you so much for today. But if you want to stay, I am more than happy to keep this open. It's been wonderful. Of course, Louisa, Nick, and then Tracy, thank you for being a part and showing us all this. Yes, it's been excellent, this presentation. We got a question from Lori, and then I have one more thought. All right, Lori, go for it.
Yeah, thank you so much. So I work for Wes. We are in the business of cleaning and protecting water, right? So that's the service we provide. I'm curious, from your perspective, how do you determine the best merchandise to purchase to expand your brand? So we have a couple key messages that we focus on when we connect with the public. When in doubt, throw it out. So don't flush your wipes, pick up your dog poo, those kinds of things. And sometimes we're fortunate enough to find a marketing item that perfectly fits with our message. Like, for example, cleaning up after your dog, these cute little bone clip-ons that have poo bags on them. That's a perfect match that connects our message to a material and also can help change behavior, because that's what we want to do, is change behaviors in people's activities. When you are looking into those types of merch or swag, is there like some sort of rubric that you use, or is there a tool out there that you can go through to checklist and see this is a really effective branding item because it meets this criteria? Or maybe you could talk to me a little bit more about how you find and determine what you're going to purchase, because spending those dollars is a big deal, right? We have public money. And so making sure that it's really on message and that it is a value to our customers, and then justifying when we're making those purchases is really important for us. So I'm curious just your thoughts on that. How do you find the right materials? How do I prove that? And what do you think?
Okay. So basically, online research and what's called digital listening is what I use. What I used to do is go and travel and do multi-country research projects, and and do it that way. And it's also very expensive, and you don't need to do it anymore. People will tell you. You just need to start looking around and engaging in conversations. So I would say digital listening and online research. And the digital listening piece is not only like Instagram or TikTok, or I don't really use Facebook, but I know a lot of people still do. But also Reddit. Reddit is a great resource. If you start looking in at what the conversation threads are around your category, you will find all kinds of people bitching and complaining about what they need and what they don't have and what's not out there. So, or coming up with ideas. So there's a lot you can do in that way. And again, it depends upon what your core business is. I'm not familiar with Westpac, but I kind of got an idea from what you told me. And so, you have to ask yourself the same question: how does this fit with our core mission, and how does it fit with our brand?
That was great. I would say for my question, the follow-up would be, I'm thinking of all the small businesses. You've got the micro businesses up to folks that have got many employees. To that speaking, I'm thinking of marketing. Could we encourage folks? Do you think it is worthwhile to actually build a marketing budget to yearly apply, to almost take a look yearly and say, hey, what could I do more each year? Just, because things change so quickly online and just everywhere. Do you believe that would be a smart role to just keep increasing revenue and everything, to look at your marketing yearly and set aside an amount of money to come back? Or what do you think a solid plan would be for a small business, a little one, all the way to the big ones?
I would track, and then at the end of the year, I would do an assessment. Absolutely. And you have to build in a budgeting and communications, and it doesn't have to be large, especially if you are really good at it. Some people are really good at it and they don't need a lot of help. They just need some tweaking. But even if you're not really good at it, if you can get a basic content schedule and plan together with somebody, either yourself or with somebody like me helping you, and then what you can do is it's a training process, right? So you train yourself how to create the content, how to keep the hashtags relevant, what people are looking for, and then it becomes a natural part of your business. And then what you do is, I keep spreadsheets for my clients, and I have multiple spreadsheets within a client's account, and I track all kinds of different things, and it's based upon quarterly going back also and looking at what's working and what's not working and what's trending. So it's a constant step up, but if you do it, if you learn how to do it right, it becomes a natural part of your business, and it doesn't take up much time. And you just have to learn how to do it and understand how it works.
That's great. Nick, and then what about you? How does your team go through it? And
I think the way she said it was really well said. Just having, if you can take time every year, every quarter, to be checking in on your marketing. Sometimes it is actually letting it go out a little bit, because people are like, nothing's happened from my Google ads. And a lot of those things are actually like, they need time to develop. They grow a lot as time goes on and more people check them out. And so kind of like what she said, we can do a combination of either, here's kind of what we say to do, we do a little strategy with you and then send you on your way, or here's the strategy and here's how we're going to take care of it for you and follow through on those like plans that we actually designed, so you don't have to think about that while you're, especially like you're a chiropractor, you're an attorney, do your job representing people and helping people, and we'll take care of the marketing part. So yeah, as far as the strategy, always great to have a plan. With anything, I guess, always great to have a plan.
It almost sounds like for small businesses especially, marketing becomes almost a discipline and something you need to have always in the back of your mind, ways to tweak and just make yourself little notes to check, follow up, and get a strong plan in place to help you succeed and grow from there. Oh, that's fantastic. Does anyone else have any questions?
I got a question for John Bippis. You do commercial banking. Do you ever look at your clients as far as what they're doing online?
Yeah, I mean, almost every single time. I mean, if we're going to meet with a prospect, I mean, the first thing you do is pull up their website, make sure you take a look at what's going on with them. And then, you know, there's other parts of that too. I mean, there's banking pieces of that that will actually be a part of their website. So, you know, seeing how that applies to my job. But I do notice when websites don't load in 3 or 4 seconds. And I do notice when they're really hard to navigate or to find the information that you need. And I mean, I guess, I look at quite a few business websites. And so there's certain things, you know, like the about and meet our team and how to buy the stuff that they're selling and how easy that is and how quickly it loads. I mean, it definitely makes a difference, you know, it makes a difference on your perspective, or I guess your immediate impression of what the, you know, the quality of the business, you know, I think we've all kind of seen that. So yeah, I mean, we look at them all the time, all the time.
It's an interesting comment to make to small businesses. Your banker is going to be looking at it, make sure it's good.
Well, if we don't have any more questions, I'd just like to say thank you so very much again to Nick, Louisa, and then Tracy, your time. This has just been so valuable. Greg, thanks for also orchestrating all this together. And we're just so thankful you joined us today. This has been fantastic. All right. I'm excited. Now we can all get on each other's websites and see how we grow from here in the next year.
Yeah, we'll do a grade a year from now. I like it.
Right? Check in with each other and encourage each other. This is how it works with small businesses. This is fantastic. Well, thank you so much, guys. And I hope you have a fantastic day. Take care.
Thank you for having
Thank you
us.
so much again, you guys. This was very appreciated. Thank you so much for your time.
Great. You're welcome.